Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. This is a new episode from the color layering series with Hero Arts. Today's video showcases a fun technique you can do with many of your floral and object stamps called 3D decoupage. Hi everyone, I'm Yana Smakula and thank you for stopping by. I'm hoping you will enjoy this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell too to be notified of every new upload. But first, let's do some stamping. The iris stamp set features a large, beautiful iris flower and also a leaf. Both images have 3 layers each. An outline, I'm stamping a flower outline at the moment, a solid layer, and also a detail layer. These types of images are easiest to align when you stamp the outline first, and hence you see me stamp a black outline for my flower. I'm using a MISTI stamping tool today as I'm stamping multiple images just because I'll need several irises for the 3D decoupage technique and also because I will be making more than one flower, so stamping lots of them in one sitting. Next, to stamp the solid layer, I'm using several colors or color combos rather. For the peach flower, I'm using fresh peach and will complete it with a light to red royal ombre ink pad for the detail layer. At first, I actually tried using light to dark peach ombre along with a hint of pale tomato color at the bottom of the stamp, but it didn't give me enough contrast on the finished image, so I later restamped the detail layer in red ombre. Pink irises were stamped in soft pink for the solid layer and pink to red ombre for the detail layer. I love to use ombre ink pads for my color layering images as they add a lot of interest and color depth to these impressions. Your images will instantly look better when you use an ombre ink pad for one of the layers. Finally, the purple irises were stamped in passion flower for the base layer, and you see I skipped the outline here at first, but I did add it later. And I also used ombre hydrangea ink pad for the detail layer on these flowers. The leaves were stamped in lime green for the solid layer and forever green for the detail layer, as well as black for the outline. I tried using a lime to forever green ombre ink pad here to stamp the detail layer, but I have found it didn't give me enough contrast between the layers. One of the tips I always mention in my videos in regards to color layering is to give the previous layer time to dry before you stamp the next layer on top. This will help you achieve better contrast between the colors and the layers, of course, and will overall just help your image to look better in the end. While my video doesn't exactly show it, because I have edited it to show you the stamping in a logical way, I actually stamped all base layers first and then stamped all detail layers. This gave the layers and impressions plenty of time to dry before the next layer of ink was applied over it. Having stamped the flowers, the leaves, and also the stems of the flowers, I cut them out with the help of coordinating dies in my die cutting machine. Time to work on the 3D decoupage magic. To create the 3D decoupage look, you need to layer parts of the image over the original image with the help of foam adhesive. Looking at the iris, I see several ways I can cut it up and layer to have that beautiful dimensional effect. Cutting it apart and layering also gives me a unique opportunity to create multicolored irises, something that does exist in nature, but is impossible to do, or rather very hard to do when stamping. Here I've layered a pink iris over a red one, and it already looks very beautiful and different compared to the rest of the flowers. The 2 things you'll need when doing the 3D decoupage are a good pair of scissors to cut the image parts out, and of course foam adhesive. You can go with just 2 layers, or you can go with 3 or even 4 layers if your image allows it. Doing 3 layers hit the sweet spot for these irises, and so I made each with about 3 layers. I love how this allowed me to add more color and easily add more interest to my flowers without too much effort. In regards to foam adhesive, it is best to use thin foam adhesive for projects like this, unless you don't plan to have too many layers, as adding a lot of layers using regular foam adhesive will result in a pretty bulky die cut. Cards with 3D decoupage are best hand-delivered or mailed in a box to preserve the 3D effect for the recipient. Now that the irises are finished, time to put them on a card. To create a card and card front, I dry embossed a sheet of white cardstock. This is Hero Art's Dove White, and I dry embossed it with the help of graphic deco stencil. I cut my panel to 4 1/4 by 5 1/4 and adhered it to A2 card base made from pebble cardstock. Using glue, I adhered the flowers and leaves in place in the center of my background, and I also used foam adhesive squares in a few spots to pop some of the elements on the card. I made sure not to add any more dimension over top the existing 3D decoupage items. The sentiment was heat embossed in white embossing powder on same pebble cardstock. I cut it to a skinny strip and foam mounted on the card. Lastly, I used my favorite champagne sequins to dress this card up. To compare, here is another card created using the same color layering iris stamp set, but with flat irises without using the 3D decoupage technique. Both cards are pretty, but the 3D decoupage certainly adds another layer of interest to the card, and I'm sure it will wow the recipient. Do you like this look? Have you ever done it on your cards? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you'll give this idea a try using these or other stamps from your stash. If you do, share online and tag me. Love seeing what you guys are making. Love you guys. I'll see you next week.